Adam Wins, and I want to take you on a little bit of a journey. And this journey is going to help explain to you a little bit more about what it is that the derivative bond contract is, what the underlying technology is, and how it actually works. So I want to take you back to the history of Ron Grinke. And Ron was actually a mathematician. So he went to college at the University of Minnesota to become a mathematician. He went on to work at NASA. That's right, NASA. And he worked on the Apollo spacecraft missions. So yes, it is a fact we did land on the moon, partly thanks to Ron Grinke, who made the mathematics so Houston could actually steer these ships. Okay, that's what he did. He did that. NASA trusted him to do that. So also, the CIA trusted him enough to give him top secret security clearance, okay, to work on the satellites that had high definition photography back during the Cuban Missile Crisis, okay? And after he got all that trust from the government, he went into the private sector. He started building his career, and one of the things that he started developing was the first early internet applications. This was 20 plus years ago. When he came in, 20 plus years ago, called AT&T. And they didn't believe in the internet. They didn't think the internet was a thing or it was gonna work. They offered Ron a buyout, and they said, Ron, we don't need you anymore. What you're working on this internet is never gonna work. Take a big pile of money and go. So Ron was flying on a business trip with one of his colleagues. He still had company stock, AT&T stock. His colleague explained to him how he was actually making money on his stock selling options, selling calls. And Ron took the mathematics that he had done at NASA, that he had done for the CIA, and that he had done for AT&T and the internet, and he applied those mathematics to make money for himself, because he had this big pot of money that AT&T gave him as a payout, as a golden parachute or a severance package. Get out of here and here's this money and go. So he developed an engine for himself, and that engine was called Visions. Okay, it was a software program that he created on his computer to mine the internet, to use algorithms and mathematics to get him an advantage over other investors who weren't using mathematics. So he created this great engine, and then a lot of his friends and neighbors saw, hey man, you're doing good, Ron. How are you doing so good? You haven't worked, in a long time. Why don't you write a book about how you do what you do? So like anybody else, when you get asked to write a book by a publisher, you write a book. And Ron became a options and investing guru. And he wrote several books, many of them online. Show Me the Money, Show Me the Money 2, Income for Life, Cash for Life. The newest books are Show Me the Money 2 and Income for Life. Those are the most relevant books. If you want those, they're available on Amazon. But after getting the books, everybody that read the book said, hey, can we get your engine? And he built this beautiful engine. It's a Rolls-Royce type of engine. It's the cream of the crop, the top of the top as far as engines go. And one of the problems was it didn't really work for most of the people that he gave it to. He started selling it. He started selling the Vision software. And most of the people that actually used it would come back with feedback, well, it doesn't really work for me. And the reason was it took a lot of time. It took a lot of time. And you had to do a lot of research, and you had to really go in there and find the right stock and get a little bit lucky, okay? Because it didn't have a ton of capabilities. It was a great engine, but you had to go stock by stock by stock, and it crunched things really slow. So that's where I came in. I met Ron's publisher in the sauna in the Marco Island Marriott where Ron lives, and I was a member there at the time. And what happened was, he asked me if I could help them with their website and their software. And what I didn't realize is what they were asking us to do is to put his software into the cloud, to put his software that Ron created, this engine, into the cloud. And basically, he built this engine for a beautiful jet, this jet engine, and he asked us to build the airplane. And he asked us to build all the components and the electronics and the autopilot and all of the mechanisms that can communicate with the towers. Just build the entire airplane based on his engine. So that's exactly what we did. And we now mine over 6,000 stocks and ETFs every single night with this beautiful engine and airplane that's cloud-based. And Ron had been selling the engine to people, and he said, well, now it's time, let's sell them the whole airplane. And, let's teach them how to fly this plane. And I gotta tell you, it wasn't incredibly successful. Sure, we sold a lot of people, and a lot of people came in, but the same problem arose. So everyone kept telling us, well, your results are great, and our published results over the history have been 1% a week for the past 4 years. Okay, going on 5. It's a lot of results, doing really well. We created the product called Done For You, but still, every year we went back to the drawing board for the past 4 years. Let's improve this, let's make this better. And one of the problems, again, was it's not working, and we couldn't figure out what it was, but it still was taking the clients too much time. All they had to do is show up on Mondays and Fridays, and the computer gave them all the trades, all the data, and they could go into their account and actually make the trades. And a lot of them were able to do that, and they were successful doing that. But then again, we had a lot of clients who they didn't do the right timing, so they weren't there at 10 o'clock on Monday morning. They weren't there at 3 p.m. on Friday in the trading room live. We actually had a coach that they could look over the shoulder and watch him trade, and it still wasn't working for most of those guys. I mean, we still have it, you can still get on it, and I kind of call that our flight training program, where basically we're training people to become pilots. And very few people in this world are pilots. There's only 600,000 pilots in America, and that's like 0.0002. So a very under one, 1/2% under that become pilots. It's a very small amount of people that actually become pilots in real life and can fly real planes. So what we were doing is we're taking a lot of people that probably shouldn't be pilots. They don't have the mental capacity for pilots. Because one thing you have to understand about pilots is that when you fly a plane, yes, there's a lot of autopilot, and yes, there's co-pilots and all these different things. And when the weather is good and you take off and you get to 10,000 feet and then you get to cruising altitude, everything is great. But there are times when, the software shuts down, or the plane gets struck by electricity, or there's lightning flashing everywhere, and there's birds, and there's other planes, and there's turbulence, and the whole plane is shaking. And that's when most people tend to panic. But pilots, they're trained not to panic, and they don't have that DNA. It's not in their DNA to panic. They just get through and go. And most people, when they're pilots in their own investing, they tend to panic when there's some turbulence. When Fox News says the Dow's down 700, or North Korea's giving us problems, or China this, or China that. Most people tend to freak out, and they're up there cruising at 30,000 feet, and there's so much turbulence in the market's going like this and like this, they can't take it, and they reach for the first parachute. And they jump out while the plane is still moving, and that plane crashes into the mountainside, into a fiery ball, and that's their investment, that's their retirement. Because most people don't have what it takes to be pilots. And that's basically what I learned. I was trying to help investors. I was trying to help entrepreneurs. I was trying to help high net worth individuals. I was trying to help financial advisors and planners. And even those guys, most of them don't have the training and the understanding of what it takes to really fly this plane. Okay, and that's the thing. So we built this beautiful plane for Ron to put his engines on. We're letting people in there. Let's say it's like a G7 or a Challenger 350, a beautiful luxury jet engine. And this is what we built for most people. And it wasn't working because most people just aren't pilots. So what we learned from this, and the good news is, what we learned from this is this product right here, which is the Globus Derivative Bond Contract. Okay, that contract is your ticket on our airplane. Okay, Ron is flying the plane. Okay, he's been doing it forever. Okay, Tommy is flying the plane. JW is flying the plane. We've got pilots and co-pilots flying you safely there, so you can have your champagne on the plane. You know, you got multiple stewardesses waiting on you. You're sitting back in plush Italian luxury, just getting safely to your journey, ahead of schedule and under budget. We even saved you some gas. Okay, so that's the beauty of what we put together here, is that and through our learning experience of, you know, going through courses, going through seminars, going through training, going through even the Trading Room Live where we're giving you the data. For most people, that does not work. Okay, that doesn't work. Of course, the mathematics work. We still get 1% mathematically. But for most people, it doesn't work because it's not in their DNA, it's not in their lifestyle, and it's not who they are. They're not the pilot. So let us pilot your flight. Let us pilot your journey and make a purchase. Purchase your derivative bond contract. You're starting at $100,000. They grow at 12.5% compounding annually for 20 plus years. Okay, the term for this contract is 20 years, renewable for another 20. What that means for you is you can turn $100,000 mathematically into $1 million, or $1 million mathematically into $10 million at the end of 20 years. Okay, so that's 10xing your investment. It's 10 times your investment. You can't do that with an S&P 500 index fund. You can't do that with a real estate fund. It is the only way to do it. It is the best product that's really on the planet right now. And that's the best way I can explain it, because, you know, this is a journey. Your life is a journey. And you have to think about it as, how do you want that to be? Do you want your journey to be a coach all crammed in? You know, you got somebody coughing over here and, you know, a baby crying over here. Is that how you want your journey to be? Or do you want your journey to be in private, first class luxury, getting you there, you know, ahead of schedule and with more than enough? Of course, in your retirement, you want to always have more than enough. And, you know, Coach is your local broker. It's a mutual fund. It's a hedge fund. It's a, you know, 401k. Those are all mediocre, and they're going to get you mediocre depleted returns. With the derivative bond contract, you're going to get yourself the best financial product ever created. Okay? If you can find me another one, I challenge you to find me a better product. Okay? Because I don't see it. If there is, great, but we haven't seen it. This is the best financial product. You're investing in real companies, real sound companies that the Globus Financial invests in from the bond from Globus Wealth. And those real companies have real revenues, and you're a part of that through the bond and through the bond contract. So, you know, it's very transparent. We make sure that clients are always paid first. Okay, so just like an airline, you know, the first person to eat is not the pilot, it's the first class. And that's what we do here with you as clients. You get the first 12.5%. As pilots, we only get paid as we land you safely at your destination. And that's, we believe, is the future of finance. That's the future of how all products will be made in now and in the future. So really, if you're looking to turn 100,000 into $1 million or $1 million into $10 million, this product is for you. Get in contact with us, talk to us, make sure that you get in touch with one of our representatives, one of our partners, who's gonna walk you through the steps and show you exactly how you can get these numbers, where you turn $1 million into $10 million over time, and you're basically at a positive NAV from year 4 through year 20. So this isn't your typical, you know, investment where you're always looking at NAV, you're worried if things go up, if things go down, if things go down too much, it's gonna take you 4 or 5 years to recuperate. This is fixed. It's 12.5%. So you can know mathematically exactly how much you're going to be worth in 11 years. I'm going to be worth $3.4 million with $1 million invested. Okay, so it's that simple. This is for you. Get on the phone with us and let's make this happen. Let's make this happen for you and your future self in 20 years, your future $10 million self, so you can know exactly what your future, what your retirement, what your life is going to look like and live that good life. Okay, it's all about living the good life, and make sure that you're on the first class luxury jet and you're not stuck in coach. And to do that, you got to get the derivative bond contract from Globus Wealth. It's the only way.